tout le monde, welcome back to Parisian Street Style with me, Farah. So I have Nicky Pattinson on my channel today. She's a global event speaker who's an expert in charismatic business communication, and I'm so excited to be interviewing her in this segment about her process on how she chooses clothes when she goes up on stage. What is the psychology behind it? And we have a lot of juicy bits to share with you. So let's get into the video. I hope you enjoy it. So, hello everyone. I have a special guest on my channel today, Nicky Pattinson. I am so thrilled to have you here, Nicky. Please tell us about you. Nicky is fabulous. You guys are going to love her. So, I'll let you introduce yourself and what you do.
Well, hi everybody and welcome to my home office. So I've just brought a few little items, my favourite items out of my wardrobe to talk to you about. And I'm just thrilled to be here because clothes are so much part of all our identity. Absolutely. And when I set off as a speaker, which is a few years ago now, to be honest, there's been a fair bit of Botox injected in this bit since then. But the way that I presented myself without any question was part of the fortune and very much part of the identity on both sides of the audience.
That's right. Oh my! So you're a speaker then?
Yeah. So I'm on stage. I bet you can't believe that. But
oh, absolutely.
I also go into companies as well and work with people. So that's almost a different identity. So, you know, it's all quite thought out. And until I started picking you out a couple of outfits, I hadn't realised the psychology behind why we chose the clothes that we wear. So it's been really, really useful exercise for me.
Oh, that's great. So yeah, we talked about that before, and before I ask you, so why don't we launch into that then? Let's just please show us what you've picked out and tell us why you choose to wear them on stage when you're speaking, or you know, when you're consulting.
Or the other time.
Absolutely.
Well, first of all, let me show you my rings.
Oh yeah, show us please your accessories.
I've got really big hands and long fingers, and oh look. But every single one of these rings have got a story. Every single one of them. And it's a really interesting point so I've recently redone my will for when I leave this mortal coil. This house is full of stuff. So I asked some close friends, if I was to leave the planet, what would you like? And nearly everyone said one of the rings, because they are so much part of me. And jewellery is so much part of the articulation of who you are. You know, you look at me, and always the black nail varnish, I guess.
Ah, yes, the black nail varnish.
You wouldn't expect me to. I've not got my watch on actually, but I've got like a Chanel diamond watch as well that I've always worn.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting. You could never imagine me in very delicate jewellery, you know, tiny diamonds, or you know, like some women wear very delicate jewellery.
Absolutely.
It would actually not offend me, but it would jar me to wear it because it's just so much not me and not how I see myself. Exactly.
It's so not you. I wear rings too, by the way. So my whole thing is also rings. Very different than yours, but yeah. And they have a story as well. So that's funny. I get that.
Yeah. Well, every piece that you wear has got a story.
Absolutely.
Every single piece you wear has got a story. There's no point in having it because it's as much part of your life and the articulation of your soul in this lifetime, if I can be a little bit ethereal here.
Absolutely.
As anything, the words that you say.
Yeah. So you have your rings, you have your accessories, you have your Chanel watch, nail polish. What else do you really like put on when you're, you know, getting ready to go on stage? Oh, that's fab. I really like that one.
Let me introduce you to this suit, of which I think I had 7 made.
Wow.
So I'm just going to bob you the jacket on. So this is now, 13 years old? Very manly trousers with the turn-ups.
Love the lining.
Made by a men's tailor in New Bond Street in London. And I bought this on a credit card, and I remember going for the fitting. And it's made, I insisted that I used my material. It only just fits now. I need to lose a bit of pork. But I insisted, this is Huddersfield worsted. And where I come from was very famous for the cloth. So I insisted I had this, but it says so much about me. And there are pictures somewhere of me when I first started out. People knew who I was immediately. I call it visual anchoring. So this suit, it's got always a red lining with me naming. Some of the later ones have got Nicky Pattinson, international speaker.
Wow.
But always a red lining. And I used to wear this with black braces, a white shirt, and red cufflinks. And that was fascinating. Oh, men's style brogue shoes. And that were really interesting because I actually decided that I would sell the cufflinks because people would refer to them all the time. So I think it was 200 pairs made. And you know what? They sold out within a month. I don't know why. I never did it again. But it was always this look. And I spoke at a big event, crikey, maybe 2 years after I'd started speaking. And I was just waiting to go on, talking to one of the organisers. And this lady walked up and she literally didn't speak to me. I think she had a daughter with her. She literally didn't speak to me. But she just said, look, she always has a red lining and look at those cufflinks. As if I was a product. That's when I knew that I'd got it right. So it kind of gave me almost something to hide about, because right from the off, I was speaking to big audiences, hundreds, sometimes thousands of people. So right from the very off, it gave me, one, something to hide behind, but two, something very definite, the red hair, the eyelashes, the red lipstick, the suits, something very definite that told the world who I was.
Love it so much. And I love the red lining so much. I can imagine with the cufflinks, they're just... so tell me, why red? And why do you choose these colors, black, red? What's the identification for you?
So this is my downstairs office. My upstairs office is black and red.
Okay.
Everything in my work world is black and red. It always has been, because black, I've always loved black. Most of my clothes are black. You'll always see me in a black roll neck sweater. I must have 60 of them, mostly cashmere. No food in the fridge, no money in the bank, a lot of sweaters. But black is such a solid statement. And I couldn't find a colour that epitomised who I thought I was, rather than the black and the red together. So it's funny, a lot of websites are black and red now, but not too many when I started out. But also, those strong colours and these outfits. So when I put this on, you may notice, because I've picked it up, there's almost an energy in my voice that has changed. That's because when I put this on, I'm on. Now, you can't see, but here I've got a balcony off this office, and there's a field and there's a wood. But if you were to put me out onto that balcony and say, there's 20,000 people, Nicky, go tell them some stories, I would be able to do it, because I taught myself that immediately I put one of these suits on, then that was it. It was that Nicky that went out and did that job. Now, that doesn't mean to say, and I'm speaking about her as if she's a commodity, because there's lots of different personalities in all of us. Absolutely. But the Nicky that got that job done was encapsulated in this outfit. So when I put this jacket on, it's like something goes click in my head and my heart, and that's it.
That's so fab. It's so fascinating, and I can really relate. And that suit is just, so stunning. So stunning. Yeah.
I literally get people stopping me when I have worn it, when I'm not working once or twice, and people have stopped me saying, where did you get that from? Then the next thing I want to show you is I decided that I wanted to maybe not be quite so severe, and to wear I don't know, for smaller jobs or for when I went working with people in companies. And, you know, quite often I will put their uniform on if they've got one. But then I bought this suit. So this is an Emilio Pucci. So I'm not being funny. It wasn't $10. And this must be 4 years old. And it's still as good as ever I bought it. But look at the buttons on it. It's very similar to the other one, and it's just class.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, love it.
So,
fits like a glove.
I mean, now I've got it on with black flared jeans. I go to companies to speak one-on-one with people. I have got lots. I must have 14 jackets, all very, very similar, whether they're Yves Saint Laurent or Ralph Lauren or Prada or... Now, I'm not giving you these names to tell you that I've made a lot of money. I'm really not. That doesn't come into it. Anybody can get credit and buy anything. Yeah. But why did I do that? Well, it's very much part of the psychology that I've learned about myself since you asked me to do this and we had this conversation. Yes, so it's interesting. I am who I am. I've got this very particular northern accent. When people hear me on the phone, they expect me to be maybe 18 inches tall, you know, 32 stones, an old car, a growing out hair, you know, and it's just the way that we are programmed to think about people. But when I turned up then in something that was class, maybe with a Chanel handbag or whatever, you could see it balanced the energy for me. That's how I saw it. Yeah. And I've only just really thought about that. But I'd just be talking and people would just look at me like that, moving their head from side to side. They couldn't actually work it out. Right. But again, you know, I'm going to show you a dress in a second that epitomises for me maybe a Nicky that I always wanted to be, but never quite attained. Wow. And it is the elegant, classy woman that, you know, that you see almost like an Audrey Hepburn type of woman, which... Cool. You know, my makeup, I'm not that person, but maybe these outfits,
they give you a window into that person, doesn't it?
That's it, yeah. And they satiate that need. They let me play make believe for a moment.
I love it.
But as we know, Farah, make believe is quite often real.
Absolutely. What you believe you perceive.
I will show you this now. This is a Versace cocktail dress. You very rarely see me in a dress.
It's so stunning.
Again, this must be 10 years old. It only just fits.
I love the lining here. It's just gorgeous.
So here, it's and I've no photographs of myself in this. It's bizarre, and I don't know why. But, so yeah, that's like a nude net, so it looks like you've got a cut out.
Love it.
So I went on a very special weekend to, where did we go? Rome.
Oh, wow.
With a gentleman caller of mine who was a rugby player, and he bought me this in Versace, and then he had it fitted to me so that it literally only just fit. And I love it. Do you know what? When I do wear it now, and I need to lose a few pounds to get back into it, but that's my thing for this year. I mean, it fits, but it doesn't look right. You know, we're kind of that in between. Yeah. But everybody comments on this, and I could wear this in 20 years and it would still be just class and just elegance. And again, it kind of satiates that inner Audrey Hepburn, the Nicky that I always wanted to be in some way.
I love it. I love that. I think we all have that, you know. It's just that, do you dare to dream, or are you playing small?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So then...
Wow. Yeah, show us more. Show us more.
Right, let me show you... that's gone into my will is my 200 sweaters.
Oh.
And this isn't a favourite. It's just that it's the latest.
I love that. The colour
So this
is so gorgeous.
is a Lulu Studio
Mm-hmm.
from Net-a-Porter in the sale. And I'm going to put it on for you.
Yeah.
But very much part of my identity is my sweaters.
Okay.
And I've actually, in my will, I've got one friend whose job it is to distribute the sweaters. So it's not a particular favourite, but I mean, I love it. I loved it because of the colour. I wasn't sure about this bit here because I'm normally everything is very simple.
Yep.
But do you know what? I'll wear that with brown boots, cream boots.
Yeah. Yeah. It's about the styling. It looks gorgeous. It is.
Well, you get like a hug, Farah, don't you?
Yeah.
A big sweater and jeans, class boots.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the whole. You don't have to do anything else. This would take you anywhere.
Absolutely.
Outside, walking.
Absolutely.
It'd have to be quite a cold restaurant.
Yeah.
But I've got loads. You know, I mean, seriously, no joke. I've got well over 100 sweaters.
So what is the sweater aesthetic like? Is it just because they're easy, they're versatile, and they just get the job done?
Yes, but a good sweater can say so much about you.
Oh yeah?
As well.
Okay.
And, you know, I've got a lot of these, but I've got some tighter fitting ones. They're all black roll necks.
Yep.
But I've got, you know, mostly black. I have to say, Joseph is a favourite sweater brand.
Joseph.
Every year I buy a piece from Joseph, every
Nice.
single year. Stella McCartney, got one of her sweaters.
Mm-hmm.
Victoria Beckham, I got a really nice, which should be here, but they're actually tissued in the loft till winter.
Yeah.
But I've got a really nice red and cream speckled one from her.
Sounds
And, you know, they're
gorgeous.
all, again, I buy them in the sales,
Yep.
but I keep them for years and years.
Absolutely.
But my
Good
close
sweater.
friends and my close friends' children, if you, just dropped the table there. If you get a sweater off me, you know you're in.
Oh.
That's the thing.
Okay.
You know, I'll wear them for maybe 5-6 years, and then I get sick of them. And I've got so many sweaters I can't wear them all. So they're like a gift of love.
Oh,
like
I love it.
They're like a gift of love. So yeah, people queue up for the sweaters.
Oh, count me in.
Yeah, hey, done.
Love it. Oh, I love that so much. Do you have any other things to show us? We talked about some special boots last time. Oh,
right.
That's
So
right.
here we are. These are, what are they? Alexander McQueen.
Alexander McQueen. Wow.
Now, you may look and go, they're horrific. Or you may go, they're really interesting. So apparently the trend this year, and I've got wrapped up upstairs, I've got lots of maxi skirts but in a maxi skirt it's got to have a slit so that you can actually walk and not shuffle.
Yeah.
But I hate the look of, you can see the top of the boots, or I've got really teeny weeny skinny little legs. So I bought these so that I can get some wear out of my maxi dresses. But also, you know, I don't know, maybe they'll look okay with a dress. I don't know. I've not tried them on with anything yet.
Do you know they would look fab on top of like really tight jeans? Or your leather, you wear a lot of leather, don't you, Nikki?
I do, but I've just got to say, I do. I've got a couple of leather jackets.
Yeah.
But I am vegan. Now, I know
vegan.
that people would argue with me about that. And I have got Stella McCartney boots and all the rest of it. But they last forever. And every time I buy leather, I'll put the same amount of money in an animal charity. Because in my head, I'm like balancing up the energy.
Yeah.
But these would not look the same in a kind of plastic. They wouldn't.
No.
And also, you know
So
what I do for a living, and you know, there's two great salesmen, both in Harvey Nichols actually in Leeds, which I think of them every time I wear the items because they were so clever. So the man who sold me these, I walked in, I got him in the sale 2 weeks ago, and I'm looking at him, and he came over and he said, "They're in the sale, Nicky, because not too many people could carry them off. You could."
Wow.
And I thought, right, you clearly knew what to say, because they were in that bloody bag and out of that building in like 10 minutes.
Good
so,
salesman.
It reminds me of brilliant salesmanship as well. You never, if a salesperson, no matter what you sell, do your job right, you should never be forgotten. And this poachy jacket,
yeah,
the man that sold me this, it's the suit. It's got the trousers. They've got some like flared bottoms.
Oh,
and he said, "Nicky, you need this because when you're travelling, it'll be the only suit you can roll up, and it still looks great when you get there, because it's like a thick jersey."
What a good pitch!
I bought it. I mean, brilliant. How well thought out.
Oh, how well thought out. Yeah. What a great
And of
pitch.
course, now, I never forget those people. And, I've had so much pleasure out of my clothes. They've been a real big thing in my life, because I didn't have any as a child. I had holes in my shoes and, long story. And I mean, ask me anything you want, but I just want to tell this little story as well. And I always talk about it now when I'm working, but about 2 years ago, I was, again, in Nichols, and I was handing the credit card over for a very expensive jacket. And that, just like all the black jackets that I've got in my wardrobe. And I asked myself why I was doing that when I literally did not need it. I couldn't wear what I'd got.
Mm-hmm.
And the answer, Farah, came back very clearly. Because if I've got this gear on, the audience won't bully me. And that came from years and years of being bullied as a child for not having the clothes. We didn't have any clothes. I used to wear my school uniform to parties. Wow. And I stopped going because all the kids would think that I was being disrespectful because I'd not put a party dress on.
Oh,
I didn't have a party dress. So it affects you. Clothes affect your psyche. They speak to your soul. They, can kill you and elevate you in equal measures, depending on your experience with them and how you see them. So, thank you for asking me to do this, because, I could tell stories about every single item I've got in my wardrobe and what that did for me when I put it on or when I took it out of the shop.
I mean, like, the first time I saw you and then I was watching your videos, I was like, you have such powerful, great style and a very powerful, like, image that makes you stand out. So I was so thrilled to do this with you. So thank you. Yeah.
Well, thank you. And of course, the way that we present ourselves is only a tiny part of the way that we're seen.
Absolutely.
But as we are visual beings, we need people like you so we can get it right, don't we? And it's a message to us as much to the world.
It is absolutely a message to us. I think we have to do that for us first in order to project out what we'd like other people to see. We have to feel it first, don't we? Within us. So I actually, if you don't have any more wonderful things to show us, I have some questions for you.
Well,
all right, so here we go. I want to ask Nicky some questions following up to her showing us her lovely clothes as just a small part of your probably magnificent wardrobe.
Enormous wardrobe.
How does it transform you when you put on one of those gorgeous suits? Like, you talked a little bit about how you've talked to me personally about how you turn on, and what are you like when you are off, and what are you like when you're on, if that makes sense?
It's exactly the same person, but a different version. So it is literally like a switch that flicks. Now, when you're on stage, when you're working with people, you're in giving mode. Yeah. So I know what I want to say. I know what I want to give the audience. And that puts me in a very bulletproof situation so that I can go on and that is it. We're on.
Okay.
But as you've seen, because you've done one-to-ones with me,
I have.
That's a very different. It's a very different articulation. So I might have a black roll neck jumper on, similar to this, but I certainly wouldn't have all the slap on and have anything on quite so sharp, because I'm in receiving mode. Because we receive all the information and then decide what we want to do with it before we relate that back. So I think it's kind of kept me sanity, really. And there's another. I mean, we're all many people in one body, in one soul. But so there's that Nicky, who might just be in jeans. Usually I would be in a black top. I might have my hair up.
Yeah.
But I'm in receiving mode. Mm-hmm. And then there's the other person who walks the hills around here. And you know what? In the little village of Home Firth where I live, people wouldn't even recognise me. Even if they'd seen me doing whatever, they wouldn't recognise me if I had my hair up in a beanie hat, no makeup on, an old tracksuit, old jeans, T-shirt, big sweater, because I am so far away. That is like we're just flatlined. Wow. We're not projecting, we're not receiving, we're just being. And we all need to do that, because otherwise we'd go insane. Absolutely. And that's interesting, because before all lockdown and everything, so I've worked really hard in my time, and I'd be travelling a lot. I'd come back Friday night, and then we had to have a coming down period. So I'd go to the same coffee shop in the same sweater, or I'd got one jumper that I wore on a Saturday. That would change every 6 weeks. But I had the same sandwich, cut the same way, always diagonally, never across, a black coffee, a little thing of brown sauce, and I would have to sit there for an hour and just pull myself round. And my son once came with me, and they put the sandwich the wrong way. And he said, "Mum, why are you so upset?" I said, "Because that is the only stability I have for the week. It's the only stability when I'm travelling and I'm doing. It's the only time I know where I am." But it's the same with clothes. I couldn't sit in there in one of these seats in one of those cafes. I doubt I could even sit in one of my one-to-one sweaters. I have to have another set of outfit that immediately put me into that place and fast-track me to peace.
Yeah, that's so interesting. So, yeah. Wow, I'm just like absorbing all of that. That's so deep and very, very interesting. So you have kind of a clothing items for each part of your life, each identity of Nicky. I kind of do the same, but it's funny, I haven't thought about it. Like this, I noticed that I only wear it on like Zoom calls and when I'm talking to clients, so it's like on Farah, like the like I'm receiving like you, but also then processing and then giving.
But you access the parts of you that you need to access to be genius at what you do, which you are, far quicker when you've got a button to flick.
Yeah.
You know, and for some people it might be an aroma or it might be music, that works too. For us, it's visual articulation to ourselves first.
And what do you think of the idea of having I think that you believe in this, but having an item or items that you wear, like for example your rings, to really like make that your signature piece, signature character. Do you think that can be the case for everyone?
It needs to be the case for anybody who has got a job to do in life. I mean, yes, it's very different if you're in the home with the family, it's a different person. But there's so many of us on the planet all doing the same thing. Everybody doing a good job, because to be good is a given. So what we're selling now is who you are. Mm-hmm. And we're selling what it would be like to have your emails in our inbox or send mine to you, to sit and have coffee, to be in each other's world. Yes. That's what we're actually selling. Whatever it is that we do, whether I work with a lot of lawyers, whether you're a lawyer or a plumber or an artist or And funnily enough, I have worked with a lot of artists and a lot of actors. So it's strange because, well, it's not strange. It's just bloody obvious, really. I suppose that we've got to identify ourselves. And people talk about personal brand, but we've got to create an identity. But it has to be true, because there's nothing about this that isn't real. I have told you no stories today. I am who I am. It's an articulation of the real me. Yep. But when you talk shit and you try to create a character that's not there, now, energetically, our antennae is so on that we'll see it and we'll delete it straight away, which is why, as you know, when we work with people, we have to see who they really are, see what the genius is, where it came from, and then articulate it in a way that people get it instantly and don't question it.
I love it. I love it. And you've talked about how what we do is so similar, isn't it? Like you are the communication genius, and I look at where a person's authentic personal style is, and where they can bring out those visual, what do we call it? Visual anchors.
I call them
visual anchors.
You know what? One day I sent a little message out the other day, because one day everybody will use that term,
visual
but
anchors.
I made it up. It came here first. Visual anchors.
Came here first from Nikki. I love it. Visual anchors. Yes. In your opinion, how does one's image and what we wear directly relate to someone's expertise or professionalism? How can you tell?
Great question, because it's all perceptual. So I hired a lawyer to do a really big job for me a couple of years back now, and I knew I'd got the wrong one when I went into her office. She got no makeup on, her hair were all over. I can tell a good suit. She had a cheap suit on. The ankles were coming down. The hem at the bottom was actually hanging down. She had cheap shoes on that were worn, and I was paying £500 an hour. And I walked in, and I knew instantly. My gut said, "Sack this one off and get somebody else." She only looked half decent when we went to court. Okay. I'd got the wrong person, but I knew it straight away. And I would have been much happier to hand the massive fees over if visually I'd have been given messages that told me, this girl is the toughest, this girl is the best. So it's everything, it's perceptual. And I've worked with a lot of speakers, but you always, when you're working, you always have a little look to see what everybody else, it don't matter if it's a man or a woman, I like to sit and I like to watch what's going on the stage.
So do I. Yeah.
I've seen women speakers particularly go on there as if they're shopping on a Saturday afternoon. The trousers don't quite fit. The shoes don't quite go with the outfit. The jacket doesn't quite fit. The hair should have had something done with it. They should have put a little bit of lipstick on at least. Now, you may they may say, but it's who I am, so that's it. Well, that's great, but tell us that story, because I didn't understand it. Tell us that story. If that's it, put it into the gig somewhere. You know what? I know I'm not the best dresser. I don't care. And we would get it. We would understand it. Yeah. But it's so much part visual. We're such visual creatures. Yeah. And we immediately grade people straight away. Not for who they are as a person, but how adept they are for the job that they have to do. And then, of course, sorry, carry on.
No, I was going to say, a study showed scientifically 3 seconds. That's how long it takes.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, I work with a lot of companies where people wear uniforms. Of course, and that strips you of all personality. Everybody is the same. So I work with a lot of people that work in uniforms, showing them how to very quickly, in a millisecond, tell the customer or the client or whoever that you are a real person behind that uniform, because we're tuned to not see people, only to see the uniform. So that's like a whole other subject. When we're all dressed the same, it says something, but we need to get hold of the people and show them how to make those connections, person to person, soul to soul.
That is so genius.
Not uniform to customer.
Yeah, that is your genius for sure. Yeah. Yeah. You have to go and check out Nikki's website, and she has all her, videos linked there, and you have to check them out. They're so fab.
More
And
coming
you also
soon. More coming soon. I'm just about to film a load more stuff, actually.
Oh, cool,
I've been
yes. And
really busy on doing corporate jobs, but now I need to get back to my real stuff.
Oh, fab. Yeah, great. And her YouTube channel as well is amazing. So, okay, yeah, I wanted to ask you, Nikki, have you ever worked with someone on your style and your image in your whole life, your whole career? I wonder, you created
Only
this?
Only you, when we did our one-to-ones, and you came up with this brilliant idea of like when I'm just out, and you wanted to put me in a burgundy velvet suit.
Yeah.
I have looked all over for one because you were so right, and that's, maybe that's
My God.
Nikki, if ever the opportunity arises, because I wouldn't go dressed like this. No. Apart from the words we've had, no, because I think I've got it right.
Yeah. I think you do. I'm just so curious because you have it so right. And I believe that each of us have an intuition that really if we can tap into that, we really know what is right for us, what looks good on us. But there's so much noise out there that maybe someone who isn't so in tuned or hasn't had the time, it would just take a lot longer than to work with someone who has an expertise in that and can see through all the the crap out out there.
And expensive mistakes. One interesting thing.
Mistakes.
A few years ago, I did an interview for a British newspaper. And when I got there, now I'd got all my gear. And when I got there, they'd actually got a stylist with a row of clothes. Oh. And she were trying to put me in this stuff. Literally, floral dresses.
Oh, no.
Blouses, I don't wear blouses, stuff, and it literally jarred me. It quite put me back, and I goes, look, thank you, but I wear what I wear.
Yeah.
And yeah, she said, well, we just put that powder blue jacket, which I did. They photographed me. That's what they used for the article. Mm. And you know what? I never even bought it because that person was not me. If you have got a style and you know that is you, then when you see yourself in anything else, it's like seeing yourself with a blonde wig, short, blonde, spiky hair. It's so far, great for other people, but it's so far away from me that it actually makes me jump inside.
No, yeah.
That's how powerful that intuition is.
Absolutely. And that's how powerful style is when you know your authentic personal style.
Yeah, and look at Margaret Thatcher. Mm-hmm. She recreated herself. That was the real Maggie. She wasn't joking. Those outfits, there's some great films on the internet about her clothes. Yeah, look at Princess Diana. Oh. Look at what she turned out into. Look at what she wore when she was 19, mm-hmm. and then look at what she was wearing just before she tragically died. We think of her, and we think of her clothes. And that was the articulation of how she had grown as a person and in confidence as she went through her life. Absolutely. We're no different. Sometimes people just need a bit more help with it from people like you.
Yeah, absolutely. Style is a journey.
Yeah,
and it
changes. It changes. I'm sure that I don't know what I'll be wearing when I'm 82. I might still be wearing these boots. Or it might be something completely different as other things come into my life. Yeah. And I want to say other things about myself.
Yeah, I love it. Well, Nikki, that's all I have for you for today. Do you have anything to add or any anecdotes you want to leave us with?
Just that I have so enjoyed talking to you. And again, as I was picking the pieces out, and I could have picked 100 pieces out, but as I was picking them out and asking myself, why do you wear that? You know, what's the story behind it? It was just really useful for me. Never mind anybody else. I hope everybody's enjoyed it and got something from it. And any questions, any comment, Nicky at nickypattinson.com. Drop me an email because, you know, I always answer them. Always.
Yeah. Oh, it's been such a pleasure. Such a pleasure. Always when we speak, I always love it. So thank you.
Me too. God bless you. One of these old days we'll be having a cocktail in Paris.
In Paris. We can't wait. We can't wait. Okay,
Fantastic.
Nicky. Well, thank
God
you
bless
again.
you. God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Oh, hey. What did you think of the video? You'll have to tell me in the comments down below, and be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you like these kind of interviews with cool people. I have some people lined up to talk to, so let me know. And if you're new to my channel, be sure to subscribe, and I'll talk to you in my next video. À la prochaine fois. Ciao.
What I know. See, I believe that you will know everything you need to know about me just by hearing my voice, because your soul is actually transported through your voice if you're being who you really are. I can guarantee to you that everybody that you sell to these days, it has to be a soul-to-soul connection. It can't be a disconnected professional connection. Once you get famous at what you do, and I don't care if you're the most amazing salesperson that is in one of Home-Firth bakeries, or you are the chairperson of a multinational global company, you are just as important in the world. There is no question. If you look at where you are, you have been put there. You don't just get plonked from outer space. There is reason and order.